Monday, October 14th. Let's have a conversation. What should we talk about? Do we want to talk about the things on these sheets right here? Or do we want to talk about something else? Everybody have a good weekend. Today's Monday. It's about 3 o'clock. We are well over half of the work day gone as far as the employees go. I've been up since about 5. Zena and I worked out this morning at like 5:30 and just got started. We've been downloading video, getting stuff together, cut belts, did a lot of stuff. I did a bunch of shipping this morning before anyone else walked in, and we're processing orders. We've got we've got probably 200, maybe 150 orders shipped, ready to go to the post office, despite the post office being closed today. Last night I shipped until probably about 10 o'clock, just handwriting notes, just little notes to guys, and just saying thanks for their orders and stuff. Saturday we got up and went to Nashville Oddities Expo. Pretty neat. You guys will see some footage of that. And then we went to the Flex Lewis Classic. Very cool. Talked to some dudes I wanted to meet there. Chris from Arsenal Strength, got to meet him, see some of Arsenal's product, weight equipment. Check them out if you're not familiar with them. Follow them on Instagram. They've got a really good Instagram page. Flex Lewis, Mr. Olympia, Flex Lewis Classic. Flex puts that show on. I believe his entire gym is all Arsenal Strength. Rob and Dana Lynn Bailey have a ton of Arsenal stuff also. Just nice product, nice equipment. So super busy day. We didn't get back till probably 12:30, like midnight and a half Saturday. Finally got to sleep about 2 o'clock, and then we slept in and just got a bunch of stuff done yesterday. Amanda worked. Zena got into town probably about 9 o'clock, and she worked till about midnight, just processing video and stuff. So full speed. Today's Monday, although we started this week definitely on Sunday. So we put up a little video, and we called it kind of a podcast light, whatever. And the general consensus through here is, right on, I'm so glad you guys did another podcast, or right on, when's the podcast coming back? But all those dudes, if there's 50 people that commented, there's only 20 real comments in here, because 30 of them were right on, thanks for the podcast. But you didn't give us any content to actually go off on and talk about on the podcast. So that is exactly why we ceased doing the podcast. So I'll go through here. There's a few real things in here. But for the most part, I don't know what else down in here. So Zachary said, I had to take my wood projects out of the garage into the shed and backyard. Too much dust on the truck projects. And that's in regards to me talking about cutting some stuff and some dust. And what we're going to actually do, I think, is take this lean-to out back. And it's 3 sides and a roof, obviously, with a concrete slab. I think we're going to wall that off and put a man door through here, or a double door or something. And put all the tools and all the dirty stuff over there, and then add on to that another lean-to, which will be gravel, and that'll allow us to put the mowers and all the the tractors and all that shit back there under cover. Sunlight, UV light, it just destroys things. Just the sunlight kills things more than anything. So having them there, we could do a slab, but there's septic tanks. There's actually 5 septic tanks on the backside for the property. Being that it was a nightclub and it held a lot of people and there was a lot of bathrooms and stuff, there's a lot of septic tanks back there that are separate, which is good. You would pay a lot of money to have those put in. So we can't just cover them up, or we could cover them up and put in inspection ports, but I think there's no reason to. I think we just enclose that, and that will take care of that part of it. Dude says, yeah, I have no interest in landscaping all day with an ankle med kit around my skin. My clothes, all of them are soaked through with sweat. I cannot wear an ankle med kit. I do have a med kit with tourniquet on my leg bag and my work bag, however. That was in response to the dude asking if we would make a ankle med kit. And we've done a few, we've played with them. There's just other dudes out there making them in a manner that are better than what the materials that we work with. That's not to say we won't eventually do it. But like I said before, if we do, it's not really for going directly against your skin. You're going to want to wear a tall sock with it, or ideally even wear it over a boot. Yes, you can only rehear so many podcasts, need new ones. That's John Hamilton. But John Hamilton, you didn't leave any real comment. That's exactly what I'm talking about there. Derek Kamingo, you're an artist and a creator. Thank you. I always had a hard time with that. Yeager used to say that. He's like, man, John's an artist. He wants to just create, but he's not a businessman. And that's very true. I've said that for a long time. I'm a terrible businessman. I am just lucky that I make a product and I'm able to get enough people to come in here and pay them on a regular basis to make a product. We've never had more product than we could have orders. We've always been the opposite, which is a good way to be in business, but at the same time, it hinders growth. I can sell $1 million of product a month. We can't manufacture $1 million of product a month. Even when we've looked at cut and sew shops and outsourcing, and even prior partial sew assemblies, where they do some of the sew and bring it in, and we do the final sew on it. It's never something I want to put my name on. And guys are like, well, it's good enough. Well, there's plenty of dudes doing good enough, and there's a reason that people buy shit from us, because we're not doing good enough. So do I need to be a fucking a $12, $15 million company when I can be a $2, $3, $4 million company and be willing to put my name on it? We just had a bunch of stuff come up. Looks perfect. The labels were upside down. Could we have sent it to a customer? Sure, we could have. Would a customer have said something? Probably not. But my go-to is, if it's not right, fix it. And that's what we did. We cut the tags off of 60, 70, 80 products this morning and threw them away and put new tags on them because they were upside down. Would the customer have known? Probably not. I know, though. Somewhere, someplace, somebody might know. And I hate it when a guy gets, 2 or 3 things. We'll build something this week, and it'll be on the shelf, and we'll do a completely different color a month from now, and then 2 months from now, some guy orders one of each of those, and he has them. Does he care? Does it function any different? No, it doesn't function any differently. But if he takes a photo of it, it should be the same damn thing. It shouldn't have been with one tag upside down and one not. So, here's another dude, glad the podcast is back, but left no comment to discuss or have a conversation about. Frank says, I'm going to tell everybody about SOE. That's Frank, and Frank does tell everybody about SOE. Frank has told everybody about SOE for years and years and years. I see him do that. When you guys go out on social media and tell people about our product, that means more to me than anything. I would rather have you tell 2 friends about our product once a week than to actually give us any exchange of money. I would rather see you, rather than order from us every week, I'd rather see you order once and then tell somebody about our product every week. That does way more for us. It's not just about the product anymore. So when people take that out there, and we have closed groups, and everybody wants in the closed groups, and we generally let anybody in the closed groups. It's not a lazy piece of shit. Number one, you have to be able to find it. We never post a link to the closed group. You have to want it enough to find the group. And then there's a series of 3 questions that you simply just have to answer. And if you abbreviate them or you don't put the actual answers in, we just decline you. And when I decline you, I block you. You will never find the page again. If you're just being a lazy fucking asshole, and rather than answering the questions and you abbreviate it or skip one, you'll never find the group again. But in that group, every day there's fucking 50, 60, 100 people posting up their order numbers. Man, I just ordered and I just got shipping. Man, I just got tracking number at midnight. That's awesome, guys. I love that you have that camaraderie. But all those dudes in that group expect that of us. They know that. It does way more for us when you say that out in public, where people that don't know find out. So that's great, but help us out. Tell somebody that doesn't know, right? You've got the best fucking ideas, John. I can relate to wanting to do a lot of shit, but only doing it once, then moving on to the next thing. I'm just terrible with that, right? It's hit it, quit it, on to the next thing. I want to do it, and I do. I build it, and I'm like, man, we can do better. And then I figure out how to make it better, and then we build it, and I'm like, that's not quite it. There's still something there. And sometimes I just have to walk away from it. I have projects all over this back area back here. There's probably 10 projects, and guys are like, are you ever going to finish this? Yep, I am. When the mood strikes me, when I feel the urgency, or there's just something in my head that says, hey, this is the answer right here. I'll mess with it 10 times over. I'll spend 3 days on it. And sometimes I just got to walk away from it. And sometimes we just never revisit it until a year later. Somebody's like, hey, what about that? Blah, blah, blah. There's the answer. That's how we do it. I just have to want to do it. I don't have to do it anymore. We build a lot of stuff. And we run it, and luckily it's stuff that, like, it's like co-branding stuff, right? Like supplement products. If I brought in supplement products and they didn't sell, I never offer you guys a supplement product that I haven't used myself for 6 months first. So if I brought in protein, for instance, and nobody bought it, I don't care, because I'll have 2-3 years worth of protein and I'll use it. So we kind of just do things that we want to do and they seem right, and we just keep doing that. And some guys are like, I don't want to be a part of that, and that's fine. And then dudes that do, they're more like what they're in the direction we're going. And those are the dudes we want around us. So that's what we do. We're just lucky that people have wanted to do what we're doing all these years. Just got the email, perfect timing. I ordered 2 visor covers in gray for my new Ram 2500, which happens to be gray interior. Congratulations on your new Ram. I also have a Ram. I have a Mega Cab, an older one, 5.9 diesel. For you don't know, the Mega Cab's a 4-door, but it's huge even beyond that. Beyond that, there's like a quarter cab behind it. And when you put those seats down, you can actually lay, I'm 5'8", I can fully extend and sleep on those back deck seats if I needed to. Gray visors, we just ran gray. We have multicam black, we have multicam. I think we have coyote going. If there's a color of visor cover you want and you can't order it right now, just send me an email and we'll talk about it. We'll get it going for you. Sinister 919 or Sinister X9 says, "Where's Scully? I'm glad the podcasts are back." Well, Sinister, you didn't leave any message. You didn't leave a note. Scully is right out there in that other room. The more stuff I buy from you guys, the more uses I find for it, and the more I find I need it. Thanks for the bomb-proof gear. I'm very hard on gear, and SOE stands up better than anything else I found. Mike Sykes, man, thank you. We've been doing this for 30 years. Our stuff better hold up at this point. Otherwise, I don't know why people are buying our gear after all this time. We have a lot of dudes, wallets and belts especially like our duty belts. It's an outer belt. You're probably not wearing it every day. So we've got guys that are like, man, I've got this thing for 20, 30 years. But on the same hand, I have dudes wearing in the belt loop belts, EDC belts, and they're like, man, I've had this thing 12 years. I've had this thing 15 years. And wallets. We've got dudes that are like, man, I've had this wallet for 20 years. We got a lot of wallets out there. Dudes just have wallets that are super, super old. And we used to put Velcro on them to hold them closed, and we don't anymore, because over time, after decades, or 1 decade, decade and a half, that Velcro just fails, and we had no way to warranty that Velcro. Everything we build in a manner that if we have to warranty something, we can take it apart. And on the wallets, we just can't. There's no way to do it. So we stopped putting the Velcro on, I don't know, 15 years ago probably, because it would just wear out. And every now and then some dude's like, will you put Velcro on there? Well, I don't know about you, but when my wallet's been in my pocket for more than a couple hours, the heat and the weight of you sitting on it kind of creases it, and you just don't need the Velcro on there. So we just stopped putting it on there. Leave this part in here. We've turned this camera on and off, man, probably half a dozen times, because I just get frustrated with this shit. Like, I want to do a podcast, but for me to do a podcast, I have to have the energy. I have to have something to feed off of. I have to have excitement. I have to have the sense of purpose. I have to feel like I am entertaining or educating or teaching you something that's going to make your life better. I need some purpose. I need some reason to do this, because this takes time out of our lives to do this. But I have gone through, I just threw 20 pages probably in the trash that are like, hey man, thanks for the podcast. Hey man, when are you going to do a podcast? Hey, I wish you had the podcast. Hey, I missed the podcast. You didn't fucking give me anything to talk about on a podcast. But there is a couple things in here that I came back on here to talk about. And it's the one that I really want to address is Olivia Hunsacker is the one I really want to talk about. And she was the girl that asked about for business advice. And I said, I really don't know what your business is. And I should know who she is, because she comments a lot. I know her as Hothead Stables, I believe is the name of her company. Horse stuff, horse tack, horse training. So I want to address that, but I want to also say there's a lot of dudes on social media right now talking about what I was doing a year ago or where I went wrong or what I was doing 2 years ago, talking about themselves. If you don't like where you're fucking at, do something different. If you're not happy with what you have or what you're getting or where you're going, then fucking go somewhere different. You want different? Fucking do different. You want different energy? Put different fucking energy out there. If what you're doing when you turn that fucking live feed on is bebopping around and doing whatever and then you wonder why your fucking views went, fucking do something different. If you like how shit was 3 years ago, you shouldn't have to go watch all this shit and post a bunch of bullshit to figure out where the fuck you were. Figure out when real motherfuckers were fucking with you, what you were doing, and when they stopped fucking with you, what did you start doing that got them to stop fucking with you? Because I made 50 fucking videos about you guys. It's not just one dude, 5, 6, 10 dudes. I fucking made videos specifically about you, but you were too busy doing stupid shit. Maybe I'm doing stupid shit. Maybe I'm the fucking idiot. My fucking reach is down. I think it's Facebook. I think it's Instagram, whatever. But if you're doing something different and it's not working, then fucking switch it, right? So figure out what that is. Figure out what you want. And maybe you should stop worrying about it. I know that's fucking absolutely mind-blowing. It doesn't compute in my head. I need more business. I want more money, so I'm not going to worry about the money. But when you go out and you fucking truly help somebody, whatever that is, in whatever capacity you're capable of helping them, when you fucking help people, that shit's coming back to you. We call it God, energy, religion, crystal rubbing, fucking not shaving your armpits when you're a fucking chick, whatever the fuck that is, patchouli, whatever you need, right? Put that fucking good energy out there. It's going to come back to you. It's not going to come back to you on the same path. It's not going to be the guy or the woman or the kid that you helped. It's not going to be them. Don't look to them. Don't expect it. That's not why you're doing it. But when you keep putting that shit out there, that's the common denominator, the common theme when you listen to all these dudes. Tony Robbins, Ed Milet, whatever. Tony Robbins is pretty fucking relevant right now. I know. He was in some movies 15, 20 years ago. He did all these things. Tony Robbins is out there right fucking now doing real shit. We know Vanderchuck and fucking Cardone and all those dudes. But the common denominator with all of them, the one thing they all have in common, even if they're saying completely different things, is help people. When you put fucking good shit out there, it's going to come back. So figure out if your money's fucked up or your reach or your social media is fucked up, do something that is worth other people fucking talking about. And maybe that shit'll change. You don't need to, if you're making a fucking post on social media, fucking every 5 minutes, every 20 minutes, every hour, whatever, why don't you go build some shit? Why don't you go do some shit? Whatever it is you're known for, why don't you go do that? Whoever's fucking in there, if you got 10 motherfuckers in your company running social media, doing all this shit, all that is a fucking show for them. Turn that fucking puppet show off and go do some real shit yourself. Do you not remember when we were in the car and we had this conversation and you were talking about all these people we were going to hire? And I said, you are not to that point. You're not to that point now, for sure. Go do some fucking real shit and go do whatever it is you're known for doing and fucking make things fucking different. Stay off fucking social media. You want to be on social media? All it is entertainment for you. I get it. But it's not paying your bills anymore. So turn that shit off. You want to turn that fucking camera on? Turn that camera on while you're fucking working. Turn that camera on while you're fucking creating something. You're a bodybuilder, you're working out, turn the fucking camera on and don't fucking talk to the camera. Show them that at fucking 2 in the morning, you're out there fucking working out for the third fucking time. If you build fucking holsters, show them that you're building fucking holsters. If you have a fucking sewing machine and you're creating something or you're a fucking, whatever the fuck it is that you're known for, that they started watching you in the beginning for, go back and do that shit. Stop all the fucking bullshit. Acting like a fucking moron on the camera. And we wonder what happened. I told you 20 fucking times people weren't going to fuck with you anymore. And what's happening? All of a sudden you stood up. Fucking a week ago you fucking woke up. That's great. Now fucking do something with it. Go fucking silent. Stop fucking posting all the shit from 3-4 fucking years ago. And do something with it. cut the fucking baggage. Cut the baggage because your fucking boat's sinking. You're the Titanic and you fucking got a bunch of fucking bales of cotton that you're trying to save, even though they're already wet with fucking salt water and they're already fucking ruined. Let some motherfuckers go get some real jobs. Stop having a fucking kid run your company and step the fuck back up and fucking row your boat. You don't have a motor right now. You're trying to fix a fucking motor and you don't even have a prop for the motor. Row your fucking boat. Create some product that somebody wants to buy. Take fucking 2 orders. I say 2 because we know I can do it. I can go take 10 fucking orders tonight. I can't build 10 orders. Take fucking 2 orders. Take 1 order. 1 order. And build them whatever the fuck it is they want. Whatever you don't do, we don't do custom stuff. We don't do this. We don't do whatever the fuck it is we don't do. Try doing that because you did it before. That's how you got where you're at. So take what you don't do and fucking do it and charge fucking as much money as you can get to do it and create that in front of those people right there. There's going to be somebody else that wants it. If you're hungry and you don't have any food, you better fucking be a good performer. But the performance you've been putting on, myself included, the performance I've been putting on, maybe it's not the right show. You're trying to be a country singer when really you fucking are better at rap. I have to do that in order to do this. I have to be fucking hyped up. I have to be amped up. And that's how I get there. I just said some shit that needed to be said. I've gone several times to send emails to people that I'm talking about. I've thought to go and interact because really the answer is really simple. With all the posts and all the comments and all the things that have been made, it really comes down to basics. Go back and do what you did. If you're a knife company, build fucking knives. If you're a holster company, build fucking holsters. If you're a training company, fucking train motherfuckers. Whatever it is that we're missing. If you're a fucking painter, paint some fucking paintings. Stop trying to be a rock star and just build a fucking solid product and sell your product. That's really what it comes down to. It is really, really that simple. We're overthinking it. If you want the theatrics and you want the attention, go help some motherfuckers. The attention will come. You're seeking the wrong attention. That's all there is to it. So really, the one that I want to address in here is Olivia, because when I was reading it, she was super, super in detail, and I really want to give her the information. People reach out to me all the time, and they're like, hey, where do I get this thing? Well, the answers are all out there. We fucking got that thing and we didn't have this. So I want to go, if you got to ask me where to get it and you can't find it on your own, you're never going to fucking make it. Why should I give you the sources that it's taken me 20, 30 years to develop? Just finding, like a good example is we were buying Velcro from this place. We were buying Velcro, hook and loop, fastener, Velcro, true Velcro. We're buying it from this company, because they were one of the few companies that would just sell me a couple rolls of it because I couldn't afford to buy case quantities of it. And as time went on over the years, I was buying case quantities. And usually they would actually uncard it. They'd take the cards off and put their own cards, or they were buying enough from this main company to have their own cards with their own brand put on. So if I was selling Velcro, it wouldn't say Velcro brand or whatever company, right? It would say Special Operations Equipment. Well, they got lazy, and we kept ordering cases and more and more and more of it. And what happened was they didn't pull or recase those. They didn't put them in their own boxes. They put the UPS shipping label over it. And when we got it, I was able to pull it off and get the 800 number and call them up and go, can I buy direct from you? Well, guess what happened? I started buying where my main supplier was buying from. And you know what happened overnight? I cut my Velcro cost in half. Literally 50% less. Boom. All these years I'd been buying and paying this because I didn't research it. I didn't ever find that place. And that's how I feel. But this girl asked me some things, and I find myself wanting to help her. Why? Why do I want to help her? Because she's doing cool shit. She's got a bunch of YouTube videos out there of her actually doing what she said she's going to do. She's started out, I'll read some of this. I know some more things about her just from some emails I've gotten from her. And I was curious when she commented on my YouTube videos. I'm like, who the fuck is this? So I looked at them, and she's training horses. She's breaking horses. She's standing on fucking horses. She's teaching horses tricks. She's doing some shit that I do not know how to do. And she's fucking young. She's like 15 years old. I was 15, it says. How old is she? But after I turned 17, I don't know how old she is right now, but she's got fucking twice as much time ahead of her as I have left. So it says, it's Olivia. Again, I asked about the best piece of business advice. I'm the one who has started a horse product business making products from nylon webbing. I started the business about 2 years ago, but it started because I enjoy making and creating things and decided to see if I could sell a few of what I was already making for my own horses and my friends' horses. I just wanted to enjoy what I did, so I just took my time and slowly grew it when I could. I was 15 years old at the time and juggling jobs and trying to figure out how to bring in money so I could feed my 4 horses. She was 15 years old and juggling jobs. How many motherfuckers do you know that had had a job, much less fucking juggling jobs at 15? I did. Maybe that's why I relate to her, maybe. I was 13. I was the jackhammer. They dropped me off at fucking job sites. A bunch of Mexican dudes that didn't speak English would drop the white kid off with a sledgehammer, a pickaxe, and a wheelbarrow. And I would break concrete. I was just juggling jobs so I could feed my 4 horses. My parents did a great job raising me, making me pay for all of my horses and their needs, and I learned so much from having to do that. I mainly bought horses as projects and fixed them and resold them and made a lot of money that way. But after I turned 17, I moved away from home. Sounds like someone else I know. When did you leave home?
15?
Fucking crazy, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm living with and working for a horse trainer. I work 12 to 14 hours a day with them and have all of my expenses paid for myself and my horses. And so now I've started spending a lot of time on my business early in the morning and late in the evening. This past 4 or 5 months, it started to take off. hotheadstalls.etsy.com. That's her sale port where you can order her stuff from. I'm getting about 65 sales a month, which is about $1,000 in profit, which I'm not touching. I'm reinvesting it into my business and buying lots of wholesale materials and hardware and such. I've always had a business mindset and a love for offering a product that people enjoy. I have over 6,200 followers on Instagram at hot_headstalls and have started growing a following on Facebook and MeWe as well, which I always say, have those. You want to have all 3 of those. Instagram will throttle you back. Facebook will throttle you back. MeWe seems to still not be, well, MeWe's not owned by them. Instagram and Facebook are owned by the same people, whereas MeWe, when you subscribe to something, you actually see all that shit. And I know she listens to me and what I say. Maybe that's not why she has that, but that is a very good move. In the process now of getting a business idea and such and setting up more firm wholesale partnerships with my manufacturers. What I would say to that is, are you able to sell everything you make? If you are, I would not worry about wholesalers right now. I would worry more about getting the people using your product to talk about your product. Reach out to them. Hey, will you please leave me a review? Hey, will you please share my page on your social media if you like the bridle or whatever it is I made? Tell somebody about it. Could you do me a favor and just make a 1-minute video just on Instagram and tag me in it so that I can share that? You'll get a lot more from that than the wholesale thing. The thing with the wholesale thing is you have to give somebody part of your money. You only have so many man hours. Unless you have production capability, which maybe you've got some knowledge, or you get lucky where I had a harder time with it. My biggest problem is manufacturing capacity. We can sell everything we have. That's why we have no dealers right now. We had 53 U.S. dealers, 56 U.S. dealers, 42 overseas. We turned all of our dealers off. And our dealer margin is smaller than most people. Our dealer margin, the most it's ever been, is 30%. Well, we have competitors given 50, 60% margins because they're building offshore. Even the ones that are manufactured in the United States, when you really dig through it and you come to find out they're not. It's somewhere else, and they sew the buckles on here or they relabel it or whatever happens to it. So that's awesome. Good way to think. Have a plan for it. But if you can sell everything you make at full retail, and if your profit margin is $1,000 a month, I would say raise your prices. If you're comfortable with the price you're charging, you're not charging enough. So, also going to start working on getting away from Etsy and setting up my own website through Shopify. Smart. Shopify, as you know, is what we use. I say that all the time. And I believe, I'm not positive, but I believe you can do a free website for 90 days or something with up to 100 items. And that's kind of deceiving. You can have 100 items, but you don't really have to have an item for every one. They could order dog leash and then put in notes what color they want. So that only counts as one item despite you make it in 10. You can do a drop down menu in there where you give them dog leash and you give them an option between sizes, and then you give them an option of color and then an option of thread with an upcharge, whatever. But you can manipulate that so that is one item in the software's eyes. Be careful when you set it up. How you set it up will greatly affect you in the future. Have your search terms, have your keywords, have all your shit in there. That's why I have, the way we built our website in the beginning, we have over 14,000 part numbers and belts. That's why when you go to order a belt, there are different categories, and some belts you can choose between coyote and black. But when we started building gray belts, we couldn't add that in there because we'd already filled up the capacity of all the part numbers, the available. So that's on a separate page. Like for our belts, for instance, when you go look at our belts, we have over 8 pages of belts. And then dudes are like, hey, I ordered a 26 to 34 inch belt. No, you didn't. 26 to 34 is a category where you select a color and then you select a size, and it says on every single page, order a belt the same size as your pants. And then I go as far as to give you an example. If you wear 32 inch pants and the tag in your jeans says 32, you need a 32 inch belt. So Shopify is a good move. Be wary of Amazon. You don't own your customers on Amazon. Amazon's great. Amazon can also put a lot of motherfuckers out of business. And now what you're seeing on Amazon a lot, and I heard Frisella mention this, and I've heard a few other companies. There's a company called Built Right Industries. They do metal parts, aluminum parts for specifically Ford Raptors. If I owned a Ford, I almost bought a Ford because these dudes make shit. It's fucking neat shit. They do some other stuff that kind of overlaps with some of our stuff, some of our Velcro pouches and shit. But their metal stuff's really neat. What they were finding is Amazon had a product just like theirs. And when you searched Built Right Industries, because you went to Amazon, because they were driving traffic to Amazon, they were advertising on social media and magazines and print ad, and they're pushing their customers to Amazon. Well, Amazon saw this as a high-ranking product, and lo and behold, a cheaper, lesser version comes up, and when you go search this shit, hey, by the way, I see that Amazon's like, hey, I see you like this $300 product. How about we give you one just like it for $150? And that's what happened. You don't own your customers on Amazon, so be very wary of that. If you have the capacity to build a lot of shit and you got a lot of employees sitting around not doing anything, looking for work, maybe you put something on Amazon. But you better be fucking careful with that. SOE has nothing on Amazon. I'm reinvesting in my business. I have 3,600 followers. Etsy. I learned a lot from listening to you guys talk about the way you do business, the way you make, market, and sell products, and so forth and so much more. Thank you for that. That's the one that I really wanted to address. That's the one out of all of these that I wanted to take the time to talk about. That kid's doing cool shit. If nothing else, and you don't have a horse or whatever, go give her a follow. If you know somebody that has a horse, please tag them in her stuff. This kid has sent me emails, and we've talked back and forth. She comments on my videos, and every time she comments, it's never like, hey, thanks for the podcast. Hey, attaboy. It's always some real shit. Go help that girl. If you need a horse, go fucking buy a horse from her. If you have a horse, go buy some stuff from her. Making horse tack is not far from making dog tack. There's a lot of people making dog stuff. How do you separate yourself from that crowd? A lot of times it's just interaction. Here I am talking about her and putting her website and such out there simply because she communicated with us. And a lot of the other guys didn't communicate with us. Even the dudes that have hundreds of orders that are on here going, man, thanks for the podcast. That's great, but it doesn't keep the podcast going, guys. It's snack time. Let's go eat. We'll come back. Maybe I'll be back on with some of this. When you're tossing a salad, do you ever realize it tastes sweet? You know why that is?
I mean, I think it's like remnants of toilet paper.
No, it's sugar spill because they probably have diabetes. Oh, don't you shit a lot of sugar out?
I personally do not know.
Because like people, how did they find diabetes? Because some weird doctor was drinking piss, and he's like, "Oh, these ones are sweet, typically from fatter people, because they had diabetes."
That completely makes sense. That makes sense.
All that piss you've been drinking.
That's what I'm saying.
You're wondering why it was sweet.
Now I know.
You're gonna have to keep a toll as to
who's this handsome feller.
I don't know. What's the difference between a world-class chef and a good chef?
World class? I mean, you'd need that world class. You'd need that world experience. You need to get out of your, Cincinnati, Ohio. You can't be a world class chef. Sorry, guys.
To be a world-class chef, where would you go? If you wanted to be the chef, where would you go?
I mean, you could get experience working for somebody. Like if you worked for a Thomas Keller or somebody that was world-renowned, that had world locations, no problem.
Like Wolfgang Puck?
Wolfgang Puck would be it.
Or give me some other ones, some other big restaurants in Vegas.
In Vegas, I mean, fuck. Now I'm gonna completely choke and be like,
What's the blonde-haired guy's name? The dude cussing,
Guy
Gordon
Fieri?
Ramsay.
Ramsay? Yeah, he's got a couple
Guy
restaurants.
Fieri's not even a chef, is he?
He is.
No, he's not. He's just a dude that drives around in a car and eats a bunch of food.
He won a cooking contest.
I won a cooking contest.
I know. Gabby won a cooking contest too.
Did she really?
What'd
she cook?
Chili contest.
Chili.
She
I hate fucking chili.
No, you don't. You eat chili every day.
No,
John.
I hate fucking chili.
Every day you eat chili.
No, chili's
just saying.
Chili's for homeless people. That's right up there. You might as well. The only thing worse than chili is chicken chili.
You've had that too yesterday.
No, I have not fucking had that.
It was green chicken chili.
That did not happen ever. That happened not ever. Okay, here we have it. We've hit a wall.
Now, let's just do eerie silence for 10, 15 minutes.
Let's just look at each other. What'd you do this weekend?
This weekend?
What's the best thing that happened this weekend?
I got the pulley off of the water pump on the Jeep, which was a bitch.
Why didn't you come here and do that?
Because the Jeep was too far apart at that point.
Did you have to have any special tools you didn't have to do it?
It probably would have helped, yep.
What'd you use instead?
Crowbar and hammer. No, I'm kidding.
A Dremel. Most of those parts are aluminum, they cut easy.
There's 4 bolts on the water pump pulley that has to come off to get the water pump off. So there's no choice but to break it free on the vehicle.
I find it's a lot easier to do a water pump on a Jeep Cherokee like that if you take the whole front clip off.
Yeah, it gives you more than 4 inches of space.
Or if you just pull the engine out, just take the engine out.
That's a good one too.
That usually works pretty good.
This isn't true. Do people just make shit up here?
You talked about possible updates to the micro rig, and if you mentioned them, it would screw people and you over. That is what put the final nail in Hudson Manufacturing, the makers of the Hudson H9 pistol. I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
the Gen 1s, the only Gen technically, were all made of steel and weighed a lot. They mentioned that an aluminum version was in development. Their sales hit a wall. People were waiting for the lighter aluminum version and pushed them over the edge. Well, that's like Apple, right? Apple's like, they don't want to tell you that 10 years ago they had wireless charging like Samsung put on their phones. They just give it to you 2 years ago, 8 years after the fact. Had they told you, you'd be waiting for the wireless charging. Is that not right, Brandel? Why do you stay with Apple?
Ease of use.
I'm getting there, man. I'm getting there.
Apple's good if you're multiple devices. You know what I mean? You can move shit around.
Or if you lose one, or it falls in the pond, or something happens and you want to put all your shit back on. This is Verizon. For the most part, all my shit comes back on, but not like fucking Amanda's Apple shit seems to come all back on. Not the same. What do you want to talk about?
The great products that Apple puts out.
Are you Apple? Do you have Apple?
Fuck no. I hate Apple.
Realize you no doubt want topics for the next podcast. The big one at the moment would be troops leaving Syria, and of course the inability or willingness of the European NATO members to move into North Syria if they are so desperate to protect the Kurds. Wonder what Scully has to say. I don't know what Scully has to say, but I'll say this. I'll say this. I don't even know what you're fucking talking about.
I was just going to say.
I know it because I saw it on some headlines for a minute in the gym like a week ago in the gym on CNN, but there's no sound. And then I see people, little pops of it here and there on Facebook. But the reality is, I'll go 6 months with watching no news whatsoever. I will not see anything about the news. We could have a fucking presidential election, and if it didn't pop up someplace or somebody wasn't talking about it in some thread I was in, I wouldn't even know who your fucking president was. My president. I don't have a Trump problem. I think he's doing great as a president. My point is, we could switch fucking presidents and I wouldn't know. You know why? Because it doesn't fucking affect my life. It is a distraction. Most news is just that. It's a fucking puppet show to pay attention to this, and we're going to push these advertisers to you, and we want you to look at this. And what would I do with that time? I would do real shit. I would do things around me. I mean, fucking pick one. There's a fucking giraffe standing over there. I mean, everything I want to do, I can do. And it has nothing, not anything in here, nothing in here came because of the news or my knowledge of some shit that happened that I can't change or didn't affect me. I love history. I love reading about science. I love reading all that crazy shit. But it takes me off in a tangent. It is simply amusement. Amusement is to do not think, no thought. It's great to talk about. I can impress Josh, and I'm always surprised at the shit Josh knows. But at the end of the day, the time we spent on that, like it didn't fucking build anything. It didn't help me pay any of those fucking people sitting out there that are going to take that money home and feed their families and clothe their kids. And it doesn't. It's simply amusement. We make the cool video about Rambo. That was super fun. We had a great time. People really liked it. Why did we do it? We did it because fucking Rambo came out. I was excited to go see the movie. It was one of the first movies I ever saw in the theater as a kid. Probably the last one Stallone will put out. He's one of the original action figures, you know, one of the real action heroes. Like him, Van Damme, fucking Schwarzenegger. Those guys are about dead. Who's left? Statham? I love Statham, but what is he? He's 160 pounds. Come on. He's not one of the original fucking action heroes. You weren't standing on the fucking playground in 5th grade talking about whether Rambo could beat up fucking, you know, Schwarzenegger or not. That's conversation. That's what we were talking about as a kid. And what did we do with it? We ran a Rambo code sale, and we sold fucking 800 orders with it, and we sold you some cool shit. It all comes back to fucking fed all those people out there.
Yep.
We bought a bunch of extra material to cover these boards with and hang these fucking mountain bikes so that it looks cool in the background of our video. It's all about progress. Every day in here, I come in here and I piddle around with something. We don't show you. We don't even intentionally fucking, this is the first time, this has just been sitting here for 2 weeks. We just fucking shot the first video in front of it just because I didn't want to move all these boards to cover this garage door with. It's all progress. You guys see it? I'm always amazed when somebody says something like, how the fuck did they even know that? He's like, I saw it in a video. It'd take me fucking 5 days to go find the video where you accidentally saw it. It's just, so I don't know. I don't know shit about it. I don't know what Jeff would say. Jeff is doing everything he can not to be out here on these videos.
I'll answer for Scully.
Go ahead.
Scully will say, those motherfuckers have been fighting for 10,000 years. Let them keep fighting.
We have people going to Iraq right now that they were children. They weren't even in school when the Twin Towers fell. Why the fuck are we still over there? Let them fight their own fucking wars.
Yeah.
Special Ops wants to go over there and do whatever they're going to do. More fucking power to you. We shouldn't even fucking know it's happening. We want to go over and win some hearts and minds. We created that fucking mess. Vietnam, we fucking caused that mess too. You want to go do ninja shit? Go do ninja shit. Stop fucking telling motherfuckers it's happening. Let them go do ninja shit. But it's to the point now where it's like having a fucking a big badass fucking race car right here. Do you think I'm not going to drive that shit out on the road in the middle of the night? Fuck yeah, that motherfucker's going on the road. And while I'm in Nashville, I have no doubt in my mind Cody's going to be running that motherfucker, even though I told him not to fucking drive it. And that's what all that shit is. All that shit over in the Middle East is the president or the fucking powers that be or whoever the fuck the puppet master is. He's got that fucking toy and he's got that fucking... We were playing with G.I. Joes. We'd get home from school in the 6th grade and turn on G.I. Joe and we'd have some G.I. Joe toys. That motherfucker's got some really neat G.I. Joe toys and that's what the fuck's going on. That's really what's going on. He says, 2, will there ever be a 2-to-1 or even a 3-for-2 on day packs? 3, will there be a 2?
Oh,
Who the fuck is this?
I don't know.
Oh, I thought this was Neil. No, I don't know. I have no plans of it. Why would we? I mean,
Yeah, we can't make
not to
enough.
sound like an asshole, but we sell them all full price, man. 3, best thing about living in Tennessee. Best thing about living in Tennessee is this is the fucking Wild West. Now, I say that, and I have to be careful how I speak nowadays, because I used to tell dudes when I was out in Henderson, Nevada, fucking 3 months at a time. I'd go out there, we were buying property out there and shit. I'm like, it's the Wild West. You can shoot things and blow shit up. Well, the ATF took that to mean I had explosives and shit, and they were looking for the explosives where we were blowing shit up. I didn't mean that. I meant that as a figure of speech, like it is the Wild West. They can do anything they want. Here, it's like the Wild West. We light a bonfire. The first time we lit a bonfire, it was so fucking big. I went to the fire department up the road, and I'm like, hey, I need a burn permit. They're like, you don't need no burn permit. I'm like, you might want to come look at this bonfire we're going to light. Like, it's tall as the building. Like, you saw it miles away when we lit that bitch off. People don't, if you're not, I guess the coolest thing about living here is that if you are not doing something that negatively affects anybody else around you, nobody cares what you're doing. If you're not doing something illegal, I mean, and then that's the beauty of this place, right? We do something here on a weekly basis that in California would be illegal. It's not. It's just normal day shit here. When Jeff moved here, he was raking his leaves. We have gullies, right? In California, you have gutters, which is a curb and a sidewalk and a storm drain, and your water just miraculously goes under the fucking ground and goes someplace. They want to get rid of it as fast as they can, yet they scream about not having any of it. Here, there's water everywhere, and there's these gullies on the side of the road, trenches, you know, your cars will fall in them. People sometimes disappear in a storm and you don't find them for days. Here, you just rake all your leaves in there and you pour gasoline on it, light them on fire. That's like the normal shit. You spill some gasoline in California, there's going to be 10 agencies coming out. You're not supposed to do it here either. Don't get me wrong, we're not fucking dousing shit with gasoline and lighting it on fire. We dug a pond up the way, up the hill, up the way. Here, I've been here a while, huh? We dug a pond on the hill over here on our property, and we just dug a pond and filled it up, and we didn't have an EPA study. We weren't looking for fucking butterflies or hummingbirds or anything. We just dug it and we just did it, and it's our property. We own it. We can do what we want to do. If it doesn't negatively affect somebody here, you can come here and live like a king. You better bring a job. You're not going to come to a small little town here and get a job. There's plenty of people vying for jobs. Although if you did come here and got a job, as long as you perform better, because there's a lack of performance. A lot of our best people, we have some really good people, they've been here 10 years. I'd hire 50 more if they came through the door. They're not here. You can live like a king here, but you better bring a business. You better bring something here. What would you say it is?
Best part, I mean, I would say the South in general is it's a slower pace of life, and that your money goes so much further.
It's a negative thing too, though.
What's that?
They told me when I moved here, they're like,
It's
everybody moves on
slow.
10. Nobody has any urgency.
Yeah, that too.
There is no urgency. Like, I'm ready to hire a dude. A dude comes here, wants to do a job. I need this thing fixed.
See,
The dude
that's
comes here. He's like,
exactly-
I'll be
yeah,
there in 3
that's
weeks to do it.
exactly.
Motherfucker, you're here now. It takes 5 minutes. How much the job going to cost? $50. How about I give you $150 and you do it right fucking now? Well, I wasn't here. I wasn't prepared. How long is it going to take?
I didn't bring my screwdriver.
Like for real. Like, let's just get it done. And then in 3 weeks when you come back, I'll have some other shit for you to do.
More money.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, same shit.
What else would you say is awesome about here?
I don't know. The lack, it's not a slave state, man. You're fucking free to do whatever the fuck you want.
It's true. Yeah, it's not a slave state.
Not a slave
Ride
state.
my dirt bike down the road and not get the cops calling
Yeah.
on me.
Yeah, and you're not, and it's
Side by
not
sides
even
on the
that
road.
it's not even that you're allowed to ride a dirt bike down the road. It's back to that.
What,
I'm not negatively affecting my neighbor.
Well,
If you go to your neighbor's front yard and you fucking do some burnouts in his fucking front yard, yeah, that's a problem. If you're driving past his house, it ain't a problem. Most houses here have double or triple pane windows anyways. You can't even hear them fucking motorcycle running past your house. There could be a tornado run through your backyard. You won't know it until the roof is off your fucking house.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'd say that. How is the guy doing who went into the hemp growing? So that's our buddy Tad. He was running his company, Fuller Heat and Air, his dad's company. His dad started, man, I don't even know when they started that company, 40 years ago,
Yeah.
maybe. And he was busy. And it is busy to the point when he started doing the hemp stuff, he's like, Dad, come back in, take the company back over, run the company, let me do this hemp stuff. He's been doing that full time. There is no fucking way that Tad won't make it. Even if they make up, we messed up, hemp's going to be illegal. He's going to switch gears and do something different.
Yeah.
He brought in some dehydrators and some things to process the hemp, company out of Canada. He brought this thing in. They were totally stoked that he could do the install on it. He is now setting these up. He is a distributor for
Yeah.
this company. He had the first one in the United States. He has a contractual agreement with them. He is now selling these things for the company from Canada. He's going to Oregon and California to set one up. He's doing the install, so he gets part of the install. He gets part of the royalties, and then all the product that goes through there, they get a part of it. And I think he gets, it's kind of, almost kind of MLM maybe, multi-level, maybe. That's not what it is at all. But Tad just has a mind, man. No matter what he does, he's going to succeed. He's doing well. To answer the question, he's doing well. He's doing good.
Huge industrial machines, not like some little bullshit fucking.
Yeah,
like,
we're not talking an
industrial
Excalibur
machine.
dehydrator. We're talking. It looks like, I mean, it's a piece of equipment.
Looks
Like it
like a
ain't coming
CNC
through that
machine.
door.
Yeah.
It's coming through that door.
Yeah, it looks like a CNC machine.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Totally agree on a friend thing. I work with 45 people. I know all of their names, but outside of work, I hang out with 3 max. Those are the people I go shooting with. I am known as the gun guy at work. Sometimes people ask me when I'm going to bring them shooting. The first thing I ask is, are you a felon? Some say yes, and I say never. Some are mad, and I ask them that, and I say never. The question weeds out a lot of people that I know I don't want to hang out with. Nothing against felons. I hire them all the time. I just don't want my guns confiscated if we happen across any LEOs. I don't think it actually works that way,
No.
but more power to you, man. I'm always surprised at people who are felons that are willing to actually pick up a firearm and shoot, because it's never a problem till it's a problem. I say that having been that person. I legitimately didn't know that I couldn't fire a firearm or hold a firearm. I didn't know. There was no social media. There was nobody talking about it. The term straw man didn't exist back then. I knew I couldn't buy a gun. But I was going, like when we were doing it, Mom was going into a gun shop, and I'm like, hey, I can't buy this gun. Mom's going to buy the gun. Nobody said, hey, you can't have, like, that was never, the conversation was never had. Nowadays, though, I think everybody knows that. If you don't know it, ignorance of the law is no excuse. I heard that a lot, too. So more power to you. But back to the friend thing, you know, what he's commenting on when I said, you need to be careful what you're calling a friend. Everybody's so easy to call people friends now. My friend this, my friend that, my friend this. Well, when's the last time you saw your fucking friend? Well, I see him every day on Facebook. Right, when's the last time you guys shook hands, looked each other in the eyes, and sat down and had a meal, or he came to your house and knows the name of your kids? Well, never. Well, then why the fuck are you calling him friend? Friend, the English language has been changed. The meaning of words, we've changed those words. They don't mean the same things anymore. And is that evolution, or is that fucking the opposite of evolution? I mean, but we're so quick to call everybody friends, and that is not the case. When you walk in, when you go to work today, and there's 10% of the people doing 80% of the work, and you've got those fucking people standing there talking. You know the motherfuckers weren't hanging out on the weekend. You know they weren't texting on the weekend. You know they weren't in church together. But they're in there at your fucking place of work or your business, or you're paying them or whatever it is.
On your dime.
On your dime, but it's not. They'll be buddies while they're getting paid to do something else, but they won't be buddies on their own time. So evaluate that word friend. You can have acquaintances, because that's really what they are. They're acquaintances. Yeah. And that's even less so of an acquaintance that you've met on social media. How many times have you met somebody on social media that wasn't at all what you perceived them to be? Like this kid here, Reed. Turns out he's a vampire. He's a vampire.
It's like he's on screen
good
right
kid,
now.
super smart, socially awkward. Fucking has really come out of his shell in the last couple of years. The first time he came around, I'm like, who the fuck are you? Like, because we talk and we have these conversations and you interact. And you know a lot of shit, enough that you're standing here right now. But when it came time to talk, he just didn't. He just, because it's different now. They didn't have to seek out. They didn't have to go face to face to get knowledge. Now we can gain knowledge without having that interaction. So things have changed. Is it for the better? I don't know. It's for the better, definitely, if you know how to harness it and use it.
Yeah, I would not say for the better.
But you can at the same time get distracted by it. And then all of a sudden you know a lot of shit that has nothing to do, will benefit you in no way. You can be the dude that knows everything, but if you can't implement it and fucking capitalize and fucking put it into motion to monetize it, what good is it? So, I don't know. I don't know where I was even going with that. Nosferatu. How long are we at?
This one?
Hard to say. I'm just going to say put them all together.
Yeah.
Probably an hour and a half.
Good enough.
Well, that's not good enough.
You want another one? You want another one? You liking this?
I mean,
yes, regarding the dust from the wood, we did that one. Good point about the knives and taking positives from the situation. Don't know what that was about. I know you do special runs of Marine Corps birthday. Will we ever see anything special for Airborne Day, August 16th, to celebrate for the paratroopers? Great idea. It has just never popped up in my feed, and I don't have any paratroopers here. I do, on the other hand, I have Marines. I have fucking tons of friends. Actually, people that I know, people that I have met and been in rooms with many times, people that we've gone and done things that are Marines, and that just pops up all the time. So we do that. We will definitely do something for Airborne Day. Just hit me up a couple days ahead of time, and we'll do some airborne cocks with the 82nd and 101st on there or whatever, and you tell us who you are and we'll send the appropriate ones. We can 100% do that. We can go old school OD if you're Vietnam. We can go fucking Woodland if you're fucking 1990s wearing slanted LBVs with 6 mags and 2 grenades, or we can go modern day, multicam. Or if you really want to go into the future and you're an airborne ranger or airborne and you're going to space, you're part of the space Marines, even though you're Army Rangers, and you want to go with the future camouflage ATACs, we can totally hook you up. We can ATACs you right out with a 101st or 82nd, whatever it is you want. We got some good friends that are Army dudes that interact and do business and are part of ATACs. Those guys have been really good to us. As you see, we're filming against ATACs here. There's some multicam over there, but we're usually against ATACs just because those dudes interact with us. They were good. We have a lot of friends that we actually know that were, in units with those guys. So, I don't know. You got anything else?
me personally?
Yeah. Anything to add? Anything you want us to talk about?
I was just wondering if they could actually see your pants against that.
Oh, I don't
They're
know.
not in frame, which is what I was looking at.
Oh, I
just
don't
a
know.
second ago, but that
I'm wearing ATAC shorts, yeah. Even though it's 20 degrees outside. Are you planning on making any water-resistant gear? When snowmobiling in the backcountry, snow gets on stuff, melts, and becomes wet and heavy. Good snow camo and stuff by companies like Klim go for a premium. My answer to that dude's question, because I do try to go through and actually answer all of these. Because if you take the time to comment, I try to give you my time. Usually it's at 1, 2 in the morning before I go to sleep. But I do try to take the time to comment to those. If you can put your time forth, I owe you my time. And give you a real answer. So my answer was no, we don't have any plans to. my other answer was, this stuff is all water resistant. It's water resistant that if you took this material and pooled it, like put it over some 2x4s and made a little pond and filled it with water, it's going to take about an hour before it starts dripping through there. Now, with that said, I had some large tool bags with all of our ratcheting tie-down kits in the back of a truck at the lake house. Fucking thunderstorm came through. I mean, wrecked shit. Knocked trees over, broke fucking roofs, like all kinds of shit. When I got out to the truck, I'm like, oh man, that thing's gonna be full of water. It's a zipper bag. There's zipper, right? There's no flap over it, nothing. That bag was completely dry inside. 100% dry. We didn't dump any water out of it. I believe there's a video of that somewhere. When I walked out and saw it, I filmed it. So we don't have a plan to. With that kind of gear, I would think you would want light. Light usually doesn't go with durable, although light does go with waterproof. So the way I would do it if I was going to do it is I'd use some kind of membrane material like the stuff we lined those bags with. We have a multicam material. There's a bag of it sitting since the party, 4, 5, 6 months ago.
I mean, yeah.
I filled it with a gallon of water, rubber banded it. It's still hanging in the kitchen over the mop sink, still holding water. I would go with that.
Yeah.
It's not durable, but it's waterproof, and I would put it inside of something durable. That's the way I would go with it. Although you said this does get wet, it gets heavier. That is true. Vinyl, sea-line bags, portage bags, sow bags, shoot-through bags, DUI, wetsuit type material. Look to the kayaking industry. ARE, Sevler, you know, those, they make kayaks and shit. They all make a roll top bag. You want durability, that's the bag. They're heavy. They don't gain any water though. They won't take on any water. So there's always a give or take. You want weight or do you want waterproof? Watershed is a company. Watershed makes a roll top bag that is absolutely badass. So badass, in fact, we talked to them about doing a co-branded roll top. You could use it as a bag liner, or you could use it, they make one that also has straps on it. Look to Watershed, those guys are pretty cool. What else do we have here? Damn it, John, I missed the post. Need to waste more time on the internet. Haha, I missed the post. Where did you post it at? Facebook or Instagram? It was on Facebook, Josh Major. So, and what he's talking about is when we did the podcast, a couple hours prior to doing what we're replying to right here, I said, hey, we're going to do a podcast, ask some questions, and we will answer them on camera. That is what he is asking about. I put it on Facebook, on the main page. So I can make sure your notifications are on and I get the alert next time. Thanks, John. I'm still finishing Scully's tomahawk. It'll be a surprise now. I guess it's not a surprise anymore. I use Facebook because I have 750,000 people on Facebook, and it is easier when I need to print something. There's some stuff I can't even do on Instagram. It's great for your phone, but there's some shit I can't even do on Instagram on a laptop. It just doesn't let you do it. So Facebook gets all of that. People need to understand how important and cool it is to be able to get a handmade, semi-custom gear or anything made at all in the USA. That's how I explain to some people at work. They're like, $70 for a belt? What the fuck? But I explain it's the best. Nobody else around here has one like this, handmade in the USA, lifetime warranty. There's a couple other things to take into consideration when you're telling a man about a $70 belt. Look up on Amazon and punch in Cobra buckle and show him that if he had to buy just the buckle, it's a $30 buckle. It's almost half the price of the $70 belt. Number two, we're going to build you a belt exactly your size. We're not going to go small, medium, and large and make you have to fit into that. We're going to give you a belt every 2-inch increments. So if you're a 32-inch, we're going to give you a 32-inch belt. It's going to adjust out a little bit to hold a holster. It's going to come a little bit smaller if you don't have the holster on. When you get fat, or you stop being a lazy piece of shit and you go to the gym and you're not as fat, when you need to change that belt, you send that belt back to us, your old belt, your stinky belt, the belt your dog chewed up, the belt your wife cut in half while she was boiling your bunny rabbit, whatever the fuck happened, you send that belt to us with $25, we're going to cut that apart, we're going to cut the buckle off, we're going to make you a brand new belt. You want colored thread? You like multicam today, but you don't like multicam tomorrow, send it in, we'll switch it to ATAX. You want colored thread on there? Whatever you want, we're going to build you a belt that's 99 out of 100 times exactly what you want. Every now and then there's some retard that just wants something that just can't be done, in which case You probably bought 20 belts to find the one we fucking finally couldn't do. But we're gonna give you what you want. And it's gonna be made by human beings in the United States who are U.S. citizens. Most of them were born here, not because I don't hire others, it's just because that's what we got, that's who's here. But you're gonna have human beings build that belt. And when you order your belt, if we don't have it in the thousands up front and it doesn't ship today or tomorrow, I'm gonna cut that belt. Usually the next day, I'm gonna stand there, me, John Willis, myself, owner of the company, I'm gonna cut that damn belt out and I'm gonna hand it to one of 3 ladies and they're gonna build that thing. And then that belt's gonna go to a kid over here that we employ and he's gonna clip and clean those threads and he's gonna walk it up front. And another man that we pay is gonna put that thing in a box, and yet a different man that we also pay, or woman, is gonna ship that belt to you. From raw goods coming in here, and the buckles, and the Velcro, and the thread, and we're gonna build your belt. Is it $70? It is $70. It also didn't come from Walmart. So, the other thing to that is too, when you buy our belt, and you fucking post on our social media on Christmas, I'm gonna reply to you on Christmas. Or one of these guys is gonna reply to you on Christmas.
I won't.
He will. He will. Or when we're on live feed at 10 o'clock at night and you ask a question, we're gonna talk to you. I did emails last night till 2 in the morning. I was in Nashville all day Saturday, and every time we were back in the car, I was replying to emails and social media. Go ask somebody on their social media page a technical question about a product they build. Nobody handles their social media anymore. We do. Every email that comes through our company, I or my wife answers. Everything on social media, 99% of it, if you're getting a reply, I started putting JW because we have some other people here and there that do reply, and I want you to know who you talk to. So, but I do that. I still do that. That's a full-time job in itself. Try to ask a technical question of a company, much less get an answer on a weekend or in the evening or within 10 minutes of asking the question. That's also comes with it. That's a little bit of it. Have you ever owned a small camper or RV? If so, what are some things to look for or avoid in buying used ones? Miss you and Skull living on TJE, Skull living on the podcast. I have never owned an RV. I've never owned a camper. I have no idea at all. Never. You?
Yeah, I've bought and sold, not a lot, but a few. The roof, that's what you got to look out for. It's all about the fucking roof, man. That roof's garbage, everything else is garbage.
But even if it goes bad, you're good with blue tarps for
blue tarps
at least
make
6
everything
weeks.
better.
Just buy a bunch of blue tarps. Flex Seal, does the Flex Seal shit
Flex
really
Seal
work?
Works, yeah.
Flex Seal. Or get some straps and turn it upside down and dunk it in tar, and then turn it back over.
Good call.
That's how I would do it. I mean, I would definitely turn it over. Feather, straw, whatever, so it has some fiber in there, build some structural texture. But definitely the way to do it, do not try to hot mop it from the top or roll it. You want to turn the whole trailer over. I'm useless there. I got nothing for you.
Nothing.
We do have a customer, I'm sorry I don't remember his name, but he has a whole channel on how to do that. And his thing is, he works for a big RV company that sells RVs and trailers. And he's like, I am all about helping the customer even if they didn't buy here, because in the future, they're going to remember that it was me that helped them and gave them real answers. And if they ever are in the market or have a friend in the market, they're going to send them to us because we helped them with something that we didn't sell them to begin with. It's a good place to be. It's a good way to look at things.
You want to plug Tad's channel? Because someone was asking about Tad. He's got
100%. Where is it? Get it.
I don't know. But,
Yeah.
I don't know what
Taddy Digest.
Taddy Digest.
T-A-D-D-Y Digest. Taddy Digest.
I'm just saying, he's
good
got
call.
a ton of content up there, so if you want to see all that shit you were just asking about.
There's a lot of shit on Tad's channel too that has nothing to do with him. If you're not into him, you're not into whatever it is, he's just got a lot of, you'll listen to it and you'll be like, man, that dude's just doing the right thing. It's really right and wrong. Right and wrong usually is pretty clear cut. Your first gut instinct, that's usually the right one. We just spend a lot of times talking ourselves out of it, whether it's the thing we should do or whether we end up doing something we shouldn't do. Your gut instinct generally is the right instinct. If you have 5 seconds, when that idea comes in your head, you got 5 seconds to put it in motion. If it's not, it's probably not going in motion.
Yep.
You let it go. You have 5 seconds. And the first instant, we know what's right and wrong. We spend a lot of time pushing the right to the side to do the wrong. But in the end, I don't know how my life got here. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I was doing 3 years. Like, you did some wrong shit. That's what happened.
Yeah. Ed Milet, that's Ed Milet, right? 80% of your question should be answered within like 10 seconds.
100%.
Yeah,
Fucking
just
move with
execute.
it.
Do
When
it,
I
do
say
it,
that,
do it.
that's kind of become my thing. Move with purpose. Move with urgency. Fucking 5 seconds to commit. That comes from Ed Milet.
Yeah.
When you look at all these dudes and you really start listening and fucking just devouring the content, and be careful how you do it. You will definitely get burned out, right? Listen to fucking 4 or 5 of those and then go do something else. Listen to something entertaining. And that could be music. It could be Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan, I call it amusement. I call it entertainment. You learn some shit, but how do you capitalize from it? How do you actually benefit and put it in motion and better your life from it? Some of it is. But the Ed Milet stuff comes from other dudes. Some of those folks have already passed away, but when you hear them, those guys were listening to that shit. I remember my parents listening to self-help tapes and shit like that when it was tapes. And I'm like, God, man, fucking when am I going to die? Here I am listening to that shit. Imagine if I'd have just if that seed or that little spark had ignited 20 years ago. Imagine where I'd fucking be right now if I did any of this 20 years ago. That's why you tell kids, and you're like, kids don't get it. You hear people say that. Maybe they do. Maybe they're just not ready for it. Church, energy, karma, whatever we want to call it, whatever it is, whatever avenue it's presented to you, whichever one sticks, I don't care how you get it as long as you get it. I don't care which religion it is that you're involved in or which group you're involved. I don't care. As long as you do good shit, I don't care how you're doing it. I don't care why you're doing it. I don't care if you're doing good shit just to get all the attaboys and look better and fucking look better on. I don't care why you're doing it. If you're helping some people, sooner or later, it's going to stick, right? So I don't even know how I got off on that. The Ed Milet thing.
Yep.
And that's it. I say those things, they come from Ed. You hear Frisella say them. That's Ed's partner now. Any of those dudes. Who's the dude with the real small arm? That dude's got he came to all the schools in Tennessee here. Lives in Nashville.
I'm trying to remember his name. I know exactly. who
Football
you're
player.
talking about. He came to
Fuck,
my
man,
school.
that guy has some good shit to say.
Yeah, he
Like,
came to my school.
like when you're listening to that shit and you're half-ass listening, but like I get chills thinking about it right now, talking about that guy, that story. Like, your life's not that bad. Your life is not that bad. That dude had everything for him and lost fucking everything and switched gears, and he's doing fucking amazing shit. So I unhook the latch on the jerry can and push down on the lid, and it will allow some air in and squeeze without throwing fuel in your face. Kyle, we're talking about 2 different jerry cans, or you have not had a jerry can that's been sitting out in 100-degree weather for all day that's literally swelled
Ready
up
to blow up.
like
yeah.
it's going to explode. Like if you
I
just
had one pop just the other day. Who
if
saw
you
that?
shot it with a BB gun, it would literally rupture. It would explode like a fucking soda can. Be careful with that shit. More power to you. But maybe you haven't had gasoline all over your body. I've spilled gasoline on myself,
Eye.
or or your face, your nose,
Mouth.
your mouth. But just take your hand, if you're curious, and just dump it in a 5-gallon pitcher about of water and pull it out, and then go rinse it off. You'll have chemical burns all over your fucking arm. So you don't want that shit all over your body. And if there's anywhere near fucking spark or combustion, you're fucking done for. It's not the gasoline that fucking burns, it's the vapors. That's why it's so dangerous when you put it on the ground and fuck around. You see all those videos that we love to watch of the dude throwing gas, and all of a sudden he's on fire or the can explodes. It's the vapors, it's not the gas. Be careful with that shit. How much simpler would it be to just have some sacrificial fucking bath towels with you to put over that motherfucker so that when it pops, because when it pops, it fucking pops. It throws that lid open. You are dealing with a very dangerous situation, and it's never, I like to say, it's never a problem till it's a problem. And when that day happens, you can buy a bath towel for $1, man. Go buy some shitty towels. Put that over there. Let it get the gas all over it. Leave that motherfucker. If you're in a position where you got to open that, you're probably in a pretty bad position anyways. Don't even try to take that gas-covered towel and put it back in your truck. That shit can catch on fire. How many times have you heard about buildings burnt down because the rags with the vapors caught on fire?
Oily rags.
Oily
greasy
rags caught on
rags,
fire. Leave that shit on the side of the road. Don't get caught. Be covert about it. Don't get a littering charge, whatever. California, they'll probably put you in prison for 5 years leaving it. But it's better than your fucking kids getting harmed or injured or sick over it. Greatest gear on the planet, and now great video content. You rock, John. Jesus Martinez, man, thank you very much. The video content, these guys just take all of my bullshit and turn it into something. Brandel, Xena, fucking, that's just, and
Brandel.
And the energy, like, you got to have the dude. I can stand here in front of a camera and go, yep, 1, 2, 3. But when you have the energy, we just feed off of each other, and it works really well. So that's not me. I'm just lucky to have these guys. Your gear is the best gear. That's true. Lots of gear companies have rugged build, quality products, but Soe is the only gear I have that can be used for everything. Your belts, pouches, mag rigs, and the only ones that cross between all platforms. Forrest Noyes. Thank you, man. The deal is, we've been good at showing you the other ways you can use our product. A bag is a bag is a bag. There's some different builds. How we build it is definitely a little bit different. We've looked at everything out there. Our stuff 30 years later, we know how to build stuff. Any of them could. It's almost impossible that you could take our product and copy it and sell it for less than we sell it for, because you're going to cut corners to have the profit margin. You can't sell it for less than we sell it for and build the same product and stay in business and have employees and pay taxes and pay all the other shit that comes with employees. So how do we do that? We just made some super fucking rad videos because of Brandel. Brandel has an eye. Brandel's teaching Xena, bringing these guys in, and we just kind of brainstorm, like, I'll give Jeff a bag, and I'll take a bag, and I'll give Cody a bag, and Amanda a bag, and Chef a bag, and go figure out 3 uses for these. And it's a trip, because when we come back the next day, we all 3 have completely different uses for them. We joke around, and we're like, moon pie noodles, that's funny. That's the entertainment. Entertain, educate, equip. We do the funny. We do the exciting. We do the fucking crazy video that Brandel's fucking known for, the angles and the spin and the action. That captures you. That makes you want to see what we're going to do next. And you know that from the other videos, the next ones are going to be pretty cool too. So that's the entertainment. The education is, yes, this will hold 4 ammo cans. Yes, this is a great grocery bag. By the way, it'll hold 129 golf balls. Do we intend them to take them to the golf range and do that? Probably not. But somewhere there's a golfer that now knows our product, and he's like, oh, I know what 129 golf balls, because when I buy a basket at 60, or it's 120, or it's 240 when I'm on the range, or baseballs or whatever. Plus, a dude that likes our product and his kid's in Little League, that's just an excuse for him to buy that, and now he bought it for his son, and his son's going to use it, but when he's done, he's actually got a bag he can carry to lunch or do whatever with. It makes okay in his wife's mind that he bought it for the kid, and it's not just a frivolous expense. He's really going to use it for batting practice. So that's where that all comes in. Are we the only ones that you could use our product for other stuff? No. We're just the only ones probably, and only ones we know of, that are using it for other stuff and just showing you guys and putting it out there, right? We're the guys doing it. I bought a Toyota truck a year and a month ago, maybe. It popped up in my feed. It's been a year, right? Well, we bought that Toyota truck, and I told guys, I bought this truck. I didn't even want a Toyota truck. I bought a Toyota truck because it's cool, and you can put a bunch of stuff on it and make it look cool, very capable rig. But I bought it to market to guys with Toyotas because I wanted to share it in the Toyota groups. And now there's like 6 other gear companies that have just recently bought Toyota trucks and making gear for their Toyota trucks and using that to market to those guys. That's cool. I'm flattered that you guys are watching me build some new shit, come up with something new. Like, you guys build a lot of shit we build. Build something new so I can build something you build. Like, do something different. Go get something new that I can get that you got. Like, I get it, guys. I get it. Podcast, yes. Hey, thanks, fucko. Maybe you could give us a real comment so we could actually talk about it. How would you say the nylon industry has changed within the past 20 years? That's a good question. That's a real question, Reed. The fastest thing I would say is if you want to see what the nylon industry, now when Reed says nylon industry, he means tactical gear. Lighter, faster, ease of manufacture. I believe that craftsman and skill has gone away in the nylon industry. If you want to see what's coming in the tactical gear market, look to the technical market for alpine climbing and clothing. If you look at technical clothing right now, there's not any stitching in it. It's not sewn any longer. It's all laminates, it's all glues, it's all RF frequency binding. You're seeing a lot of that coming. A lot of stuff. You used to have to, you'd look at guys doing pals webbing. You go back 10, 15 years ago, even as far as 20 years ago, when they were starting to do modular gear, you had sewing machines with big clamps that would clamp it down, and the machine would go, and it would sew all the pals webbing. First, they would hot glue it down, all the webbing, and they had this clamp that would come by, stamp it all down, all the rows, and sew it. Those fucking clamps would cost 40 grand a clamp. You'd be 35,000 for the sewing machine. You'd be 5 grand per clamp, 10 grand, 20 grand per clamp. And then you had guys like me who didn't have any of that shit. We'd sew it by hand. You look at our pals is straight. It looks like a machine did it. It looks like a fucking robot did it. Find somebody else that's hand sewing pals that looks like a robot did it, that's actually producing anything. There's some really, really good guys out there that are like one-man, two-man shops.
Yeah.
But for the most part, there's no skill anymore. And now with the laminate shit, you've got guys selling kits and everything's laminate and everything's cut out. You don't have to sew pals anymore. It's just laser cut. So skill's going away. It's more like a guy, it's like learning to make knives. You have knife makers right now who've never made a fucking knife in their life. They're going to a water jet or a laser. They cut all the shit out, and the laser even profiles it at this point, does all the cleanup. All they do, they're a knife sharpener. They're a knife sharpener and a handle tire. They basically assemble. They are a knife assembler. Whereas a lot of companies, Strider for sure, I was there when Dwayne was cutting knives in his garage. I was standing there in his fucking garage with a chop saw, cutting as much away as we could, and then he's on a belt grinder, grinding away as much as he could, and then he would bevel it by hand. And then eventually he had gauges and shit that would kind of make it the same on both sides. And then I watched Mick and Dwayne tie in those 550 cord handles on those things in vices. I watched them snap fucking knives. Like all that work into a knife by hand just to fucking flex it, and that bitch would fucking break in half. I watched that happen. I bet I've seen them break 20, 30 knives, right? After putting days of work into those things. So just like the knife industry, you can now buy a tabletop CNC machine and you're a machinist, but you never made a knife. You didn't do, and it's did you really make a knife? Yeah, of course they made a knife, but in a different manner. They don't know, like, none of that's there. Does it really matter if the outcome's the same? The product's great. There's some awesome shit out there. They are doing some stuff in the industry that we can't do from lack of equipment. Do we have to do that to keep up? I don't know. We're selling everything we can possibly sell. It's like Jeff says. He says, when everything goes automated and people lose jobs and everything changes, there's still going to be that desire in that niche market for a handmade product. And the people that are handmade craftsmen that are really working in the rawest form, there's always a desire to have those. We can go to any store right now and buy a print, but there's still artists selling $100,000, $1 million fucking paintings that he painted with a spackling trowel or paintbrushes or whatever. So, I don't know, did I answer that question kind of?
Reed didn't even listen.
Install a dust collection system in the new wood shop. We eventually will. I see them, it's not that big of an undertaking. Once we're in the back, we will definitely do that once we wall off that other wall. What was the biggest project you guys knocked out since the podcast ended several months ago? Loved hearing the podcast. Easier to consume than the YouTube. So, Adam, we're taking this and ripping the audio. That's actually being done right now, I think, for this one right here that we are answering, and that will go up, and then the next one it will start going to podcast as we do them. What was the biggest thing we knocked out? I don't know. What?
This gym.
Yeah, but I mean, did we really do that? I just bought some shit and we kind
Yeah,
of
moved
put
all
it
this
in.
shit
It's not-
around. I don't know. That's a
I
fucking
guess
fuck
the
ton of
gym,
equipment.
just it's little pieces, right? How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? We do a lot of shit. None of it's ever finished. Like we never finish anything. I was talking about that on the video the other night that we still haven't. We actually have that video that hasn't gone up. But knocking this out, right? I'll come in here and I'll go. I need to clean this workbench off, and before you know it, I've been out here for 2 hours, moving all over the place, but it all still looks the same. I've got a trash can full of shit. I don't know where any of the shit came from because what I set out to do still looks the same. Whereas really I need to go, okay, like war within arm's reach. I just need to take this area and spin around in circles and make a 360-degree circle or go, okay, 8 by 8 feet. Everything in this 8 feet, I'm going to fucking pick it up, and this 8 by 8 feet is going to be perfect. If I move it someplace else, it doesn't matter. This 8 feet's going to be done. And then I'm going to go to the next 8 feet the next day and do that 8 feet. And before you know it, everything's going to be pushed in that corner. And then we're going to take it all and put it in a shipping container, sell it, get rid of it, hide it, do whatever we do. But if we don't show you that corner, you're going to think, man, their fucking
They
shit's
did
really
good.
organized. It looks really good right there. And that's kind of what we've been doing, man. I've got 1,000 things started, none of them finished, but there's progress on everything. I don't know. I lost a lot of weight, fucking moving around,
that's a
doing
good
all
one
that,
too, man.
doing all that shit. I mean, just constant movement. That's all we got, guys. That's it. Reed's here. Go ahead and all right, turn that shit off.
The possum stinks.
That's your
Reed,
breath.
Reed, you need to clean the possum. Just go wash it.